Hello there and welcome to this tutorial on how to create a backing track using the loops available in Bandlab. Now hopefully if you're watching this tutorial you will have been given a login by your teacher to Bandlab for Education, and you will have been able to get into Bandlab and be looking at the library. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you what we're aiming for, and then I'm going to take you through step by step how to get there. And it'd be brilliant if you can use this video like a teacher but pause it after each step so that you can go and do it and work through the video like that. So here on the screen I have got 4 different tracks in Bandlab. We've got the tracks that you can actually see here. These are the sound waves, and this is drum machine MIDI part. We have the playback buttons at the top, the undo button if you make a mistake. This is BPM or speed, a metronome, the save button, very important, and all sorts of other controls that I'll show you how to use in a little bit. And this is my example. So let's get started by having a little listen to this backing track. There we go, so that's my rap backing track, and you can hear in that a really strong drum beat. You can hear I've got some keys in there, some bit of a tune going on, and finally we add a bass. And I've also tried to get a bit of a build up and come back down, or even a beginning, middle and end structure in there. So let's head over to a blank page and see what we can do. So if you've been given your login, you should end up on a screen that looks a bit like this with your class there. I can see many classes because I'm in charge of the schools version. And what you're first going to do is click up here, My Library. Now once you've started doing some projects, they will all be down here. So I've got all sorts of different projects there, including my loop rap backing track. But what we're going to do is we're going to start a new personal project by clicking Mix Editor here, and this will open up our DAW or Digital Audio Workstation, where we're going to write the music. Fantastic. So once we're in this screen, we are pretty much ready to get started on our project. And we have a choice of different sorts of tracks that we can add. These ones over here are all a live instrument or voice, so they will use your microphone or an input of some sort from an instrument. These are MIDI tracks, which means that we can create stuff using computer-generated sound. So there's my drum machine that I used earlier, and there is an extension task for creating a drum machine part if you want. And this is an instrument, and you can play using either a MIDI keyboard if you've got one, or you can actually even play in using the computer keypad on your computer. However, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to click Browse Loops, because we're going to build our track using loops, which are pre-recorded repeating bits of music. Fabulous, so here we are, and you can see that I've got no tracks at the moment, unlike in my other project. And this window over here has opened for us. This actually comes from this button here, Loops. Okay, so if you can't get that, then just click Loops at the bottom. And we get lots of different loop packs here from all sorts of different styles of music. And within them, there's all sorts of tiny little, if I just click on one, there's all sorts of tiny little pieces of music that have been pre-recorded for you, for example. There you go. Oh, stop that a bit early. There we go, and you can click on them and they will just play for you until you find one that you like. So I'm going to head back over here to the beginning page, or if you really want, you can use the search bar as well. And I'm going to try and find something that would suit a rap style, as we've been writing raps in class. And I'm going to have a look actually at this drill pack here, because whilst drill is its own specific style, it does include rapping in it. Okay, so we're going to have a look at this drill pack. You might want to look at maybe trap as well, or even just search and see if you can find anything to do with rap as well. So once we go in, the drill pack starts with some bass lines, so really, really low lines in the music. Go. So really, really low basses. There's quite a few of those. We've also got beats. So if you didn't want to write your own using a drum machine, you could have a drill beat. Fantastic. If I scroll down, there's some FX, which means effects. Like a whoosh sort of sound. What's that one? That one doesn't want to play for me. Oh. Okay, so we've got all sorts of different effects in there. Oh, that's the effect. There we go. We've got keys as well. And let's just see if we've got any more down the bottom. So lots and lots and lots of keys. Percussion, which is anything that you can hit or shake. There we go. Synths, which is like an electronic instrument that can kind of mimic or create its own computerized sounds. So it sounds a little bit like the future almost there. There we go. So lots of different styles, and they're all labelled here. And what I'd like you to try and do is to use at least 4 different loops, and we're going to put each one in its own track so that we can develop it properly. So I'm going to start out by picking a beat, and I'm going to be quite quick about this, but you guys can spend a lot of time going through. Just before I do pick my beat, over here on this far side it says 140 on all of the tracks. Actually it says 140. Now this is the beats per minute, the speed of each track. So before I pop any loops in, what I need to do is just come up here to beats per minute, and I need to click and type in 140 instead. That's a little bit quicker than it was before, and this means that all of the loops will sound great together. So I'm going to start with a little bit of a beat. Let's try number 9. Yeah, I quite like beat number 9. So once I'm happy with it, I'm going to click, drag it across, and it says here drop a loop or audio MIDI file. I'm going to drop my loop. There we go, and you can see it's nicely snapped back to the very beginning, but I can click on it and drag it around. But at the moment I want everything at the beginning, and if I click play, there we go, my loop is in there. Okay, I'm just going to drag my play bar back to the beginning. Right then, I think now that I've got a lovely beat in there, I'm going to see if I can find some keys that I like. Yeah, those are okay. Let's try this one. I think I used that in my previous one. I quite like that one, so I'm going to take that and drag it across, and it's going to not go in, so I'm going to do it again. There we go. Now you can see that this one hasn't gone back to the start, so I'm just going to drag it and check that they both sound nice together. Awesome. So I quite like both of those, and I think just to finish myself off, I'm going to find a bass from in here. Let's try number 4. Yep, that will do me. That sounds pretty good. So again, I drag it into its own new track. So you can see I'm kind of stacking things up vertically, and then we're going to build our track horizontally. So let's try this. So you can see that's already sounding pretty good, and I'm quite pleased with that. So what I'm going to do for a second is just close down my loops page, but this will still be here when I come back in a second. So I need to start thinking about the story of my piece and how we're going to build it up, because I don't just want to go in and play these tracks the whole way through, all the same, the whole way. I think that would be really boring, actually. So what I'm going to do is I want to start a bit quiet and build it up to something in the middle which has got lots of stuff. So I think the bass is going to come in later. So I'm just going to drag it over there out of the way. And if you need, you can use these plus and minus magnifying glasses here to zoom out a little bit to see a bit more. Now the most important thing that we must know when we're placing stuff is it's got to line up with this grid here, because otherwise it will not sound particularly nice and everything will go out of time with each other. So just make sure that wherever you put stuff, you line it up with the grid. There we go. So let me just remind myself of those keys. Yeah, I think I'm going to start with just my keys on their own. So I'm going to move my drums a little bit later. And there's a magic circle here, a magic recycle, and this means I can loop the loop. So I'm going to repeat this little bit of music just by dragging it out. So let's see what those two sound like together. There we go, that's sounding pretty good, I think. So let's drag them out one more time. And then I think we're going to try and bring the bass in. And I'm not sure if this is too early, you might want to give it a bit longer, but here comes the bass. Let's hear it come in. Sounding all right, but one thing that I think I want to do is make my bass a little bit more obvious. So I'm going to turn it up, and I'm going to use this volume control over here to just put that to full volume. And I think I'm going to just turn those keys down a little bit. They're a bit too over the top. Okay, so one thing I also decided was that just needs a little bit more time to come in. So I'm going to drag that out even longer. So now I've got just the keys, then the beat, and then the bass is going to come in for the main section, which I'm going to make 2 loops long, I think, or 4 bars in this case. Okay, there we go. So a bit of a build up, and I could also do kind of a fade away at the end and take parts away as well. So just before I finish off and say let's get going on this, I think I'm going to go back in and try and get a bit of an effect for when that bass comes in. So let's click on the loop button and I'm going to scroll down to where it says FX. Let's have a listen. That's the one that we can't hear. Let's have a listen to this one. Let's try that one. So I'm going to drag it in. Okay, and I heard that it kind of went down and then suddenly built up again. So let's see if that makes our bass coming in a little bit more exciting. So I'm going to click and play from here. Oh, I quite like that. That sounds really good. Awesome. I think I also need some percussion here. Let's add in another sort of bass element or drum element, a rhythmic element to make it a bit more exciting. Here we go. That's all right. Again, all right. Let's try that one and see what that sounds like overall. Okay. There we go. So slowly layering things up as I go. And I might even just click on this effect and I'm going to, on my keyboard, press Control and C. And then place this very carefully, because when I click Control and V, I've got another one of those trap effects happening there. So let's just see. what this sounds like. So far I've built the beginning where things come in one by one. I've made sure that every single thing is in its own separate track so that I can change the volume if I want to, and so that it's nice and organised and I can see each part coming in. And I've got kind of a middle section here where it's all going on and we've got lots and lots of different parts. And in music we like things to be either 2 or 4 times repeated, or 2 or 4 bars long, just because it sounds kind of nice and rounded and sensible. So I'm just going to drag all of this out. Oh, I'm going to drag that out as well. I'm just going to drag all of this out a little bit longer. I think I'm going to copy and paste that drill effect one more time as well. And then I think I'm going to fade everything out. So let's maybe try. Let's maybe try that and see if that works as a finish. Okay, so let's have a listen to my track. Again, it's very experimental, so you can listen to things and change it as you go. I've tried to make it a beginning, middle and fade out at the end. So let's see what our track sounds like. There we go. So that is my rap backing track. And there's a couple of things that I could do. I could add more parts if I wanted. I could even make it so that there's a second main section over here and I have 2 bits where people rap. Or I could even have a go at rapping the raps, the lyrics that we wrote the other week over the top. And to do that, I would click Add Track, Voice or Mic, and then click the Record button. And this will then record my voice after a little bit of a count in there. So there you go, you can see my voice is recorded. And this will then record my voice. There you go. Obviously I don't want that one in there, and of course I missed the most important thing, which is to drag this all the way back to the start whenever you do anything like that, or double click here. So your main task, guys, is to have a go at creating your own backing track for a rap using lots and lots of different loops from the loop packs available. To extend this, you could turn it into a full rap backing track by adding different sections. And also, as a further extension, you could try adding a voice or mic and trying to record your own rap to your own backing track. Have a good time doing this, and I look forward to hearing what you do. Thank you. Bye.